Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to prepare for the GMAT. We have been solving GMAT math problems out of this book here, GMAT Review, the official guide, the 13th edition. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You're going to need it. The problem that we are about to solve is the one that you will find on page number 168, and today is our lesson number 127. Problem number 117 is what we're going to do. But before we do the problem number 117, let's start out with something simpler, something that we can cope with readily. And once we understand the concept as to what is going on in a simpler version of this problem, then we'll do the problem itself. Here's a simpler question here. So let's call this 117 bonus. This is a bonus problem. The question is, which of the following is a factor of 5 raised to 4 minus 3 raised to 4? Now in the problem in the book there, 117, problem number 117 actually says which of the following is not a factor. Here it says which of the following is the factor, and here are the answer choices: A, B, C, D, and E. 13, 15, 17, 19, and 21. Let's go ahead and do it together, shall we? What we have to understand here is that in questions like these, when you see huge, large numbers raised to some powers, dealing with arithmetic, nothing else, there is no algebra here, this is just arithmetic. What you have to understand in that situation, in that scenario, is that in those situations, those questions, the writer, the people who give you the exam, the writers, are not giving you those questions because they want to see who is the quickest one in figuring, who is the quickest one at adding and subtracting and multiplying and division. They're not trying to figure out if you can add and subtract and divide quickly. They're looking for some technique. They're trying to see how well you think. Do you understand? A word comes to my mind right now. I don't have my vocabulary list right now, so I will not be able to look at, but I'll put it down here so that we can learn it some other time. It's not actually a word. It's I don't know if we call an expression or whatever you will call it here. It is winnow out. They're not trying to winnow out the greatest geek, the greatest freak in the country. They're trying to winnow out the people who can think logically, rationally, systematically, and smartly, intelligently. A quick, smart move here would be to realize that we are dealing with a difference of two squares. And these are some things that they expect you to know. There are some basic concepts of algebra, there are some basic concepts of arithmetic, and there are some basic concepts of geometry that you have to know, even if those bloody things are something that you will never have to use in your career. You are shooting for an MBA, I realize that. And in MBA, you're not going to deal with a formula for circumference probably, but you have to know the damn thing anyway because it appears on the exam. The same thing with the difference of two squares. The difference of two squares goes something like this. A squared minus B squared. This quantity is called difference of two squares. It is called difference of two squares because we see two quantities which are being squared and we are taking their difference. We are subtracting one from the other. Subtracting one from the other is called the difference. What's the difference of 5 and 3? The difference of 5 and 3 is 2. Difference of two squares. This is a squared quantity, this is a squared quantity. And it goes something like this. A plus B times A minus B. Let's do it out here so we have more room. A plus B times A minus B. If you open the parentheses, you will see that A times A is A squared. A times B, but it's a negative, so it's negative AB. And then B times A is positive. Here is a positive, and this is positive, so positive times positive is positive. And B times A is same as A times B. And finally, B times a negative B is minus B squared. And what we find is that this negative AB and the positive AB, they drop out. and this quantity equals to a squared minus b squared. Voila! So the difference of 2 squared equals a plus b times a minus b. That's what we have to do here. That's what we have to do here. So we can write 5 to the 4th as 5 squared squared minus 3 squared squared. So here our a is 5 squared and our b is 3 squared. So one more time, a plus b, so that's going to be 5 squared plus 3 squared times 5 squared minus 3 squared. We can go one more round. So this 5 squared plus 3 squared is just 5 squared plus 3 squared, and this can be written as 5 plus 3 and then 5 minus 3. Let's find out what those things are, okay? 5 squared is 25, 25 plus 9 is 25 plus 10 is 35, so it must be 33. Did I make a mistake? 25 plus 9, something is not right. Not 33. 25 plus 9, not 25 plus 8. 25 plus 10 is 35, therefore 25 plus 9 must be 34. I got concerned here because I know what the right answer is, and had that been 35 as I put down, we would have had some trouble, or 33 as I put down, we would have had some trouble. Because 33 we will be able to yank out 11 out of it. There is no 11 here. You see? It's a 34. Less than 8 times 5 minus 2 is 2. Now 34 can be further written as 17 times 2 times 8 times 2. These are the factors of this quantity. Since 2 is not there, 8 is not there, no multiples of 2 there, the answer is 17. There are no even numbers there. So which of the following is a factor of this quantity? 17 is a factor, right here. Voila, the answer is 17. That's all. Now, before we go to the actual problem that is in the book, I want to make a quick note here. I just want to make sure that you understand, and I want to make sure that you don't get too excited by looking at something as simple as that, because this will never appear on the exam. Never ever appear on the exam. You know why? Because as I already told you, they're not trying to winnow out means to screen something and take out the desired part and throw away the undesired part. They're not trying to locate, they're not trying to winnow out the greatest freak, the greatest geek, the greatest nerds in the country. They're trying to see how well you think. The reason why this problem will not appear in the exam is because this problem can very easily be done by brute force in a nerdy way. Well, I know you're thinking this is not nerdy, then I don't know what nerdy is. What I meant is that it can be solved by brute force, without any techniques, without any strategy. Let's do it by brute force, and you will see why this will not appear in the exam. Well, let's do it with the brute force. We are done here. Let's do it here. The quantity that was given to us is 5 raised to 4 minus 3 raised to 4, and this can very easily be done by brute force. 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times time is 125. And 125 times 5 is very simple to do. 125 times 5. 100 times 5 is 500. And another 5 25s will make 125. So it's 625. This quantity is 625. Minus 3 raised to 4. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. And 27 times 3 is 81. You see how simple it is? You can do it with brute force. What is 621 minus 81? Let's find out. 625 minus 81 is 4, 12 minus 8 is 4, and that's 554. 554. Watch what happens, okay? Watch what happens. Now let's find out the factors of 554. Let's do it here. Sorry, 544. 544 can be easily divided by 4. 544, is that what I had? 544? That's right. Let's divide it by 2 instead of 4. Let's divide it by 2. How many 2's in a 5? 5 has 2 4's, 5 has 2 2's. The remaining one goes and joins the 4, becomes 14. How many 2's in a 14? 14 has 7 2's. How many 2's in a 4? It has 2 2's. Let's do one more round with 2. How many 2's in a 2? That is 1. How many 2's in a 7? 7 has 3 2's. The remaining one goes and joins just 2, becomes 12. How many 2's in a 12? 12 has 6 2's. Let's do one more round with 2. We're going to have to go quite a few. That's 3, and then 4 and 5. We're going to have to do quite a few before we get to it. 13 divided by 2 is 6. Remaining one goes and joins 6, becomes 16. That's 8. Let's do one more. 3 and 4, and then 2, one more, and there you go. Voila, you see 17 right there. So this quantity equals, that's the power of 3, 4, 5. This equals 2 raised to 5 times 17. 2 raised to 5 times 17. As you can see, it can be just done by brute force, by doing it all out. That's not what they want you to do. They want you to use a technique. Do you understand? And now you know the technique. You know that you have to use the difference of two squares. What I want you to do, I'm not going to continue this video here. I'm going to stop right now because it's getting to be a very long video. What I want you to do is now try it out. Try it out and do the problem yourself. Do this problem yourself. The question was, which of the following? I'm going to erase everything. That's it. We're done with everything here. The difference of two squares is what you have to use. Which of the following is not a factor of 3 raised to 8 minus 2 raised to 8? Go ahead and do that. Same exact technique that we just did here. Do it on your own and then watch the video and compare your work against the work that you and I are going to do tomorrow on day number 129. Alright? I'll see you tomorrow. Bye now.